And we're back. Devin Zoolander sitting here with the one and only Shalaia, looking oh so cool. Now, may I ask you real quick before we get back to me and talking about hyperpigmentation and all these different things that you know oh so much about? I have to ask you, what are you wearing on your face right now? Mac. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Mac. All right. Shout out to
But
Mac.
I did give myself a facial this morning.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because, you got to glow.
Yes.
Makeup does its thing. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But if your skin underneath is radiant, then it's just that much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree, because it's almost like makeup is supposed to enhance what is already beautiful.
Absolutely.
Because it's already there.
Yeah, exactly.
An interesting thing I saw is someone was trying to do like a split screen of like Danny Lay with her face fully beat, and then with how she was looking in the baby video.
Oh, I hate that pose.
Yeah, I don't like it either. And what one woman wrote, and I'll make sure I put this right here so that I don't end up keeping it.
Oh, thank you.
I just put it right there because well, maybe not that, but if you
My
have
lip gloss.
yeah, all right, well, we're gonna let you have that. My lips are a little darker than yours, but anyway, but yeah, with Danny, what someone wrote underneath was, well, obviously y'all don't have girlfriends, because if you did, then you would know, if you have a woman that's around you all the time, she's gonna look like sweat, she's gonna look different kinds of ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on now. Sometimes, when you menstruate, it takes a lot from your skin. You might look a little dull. You might have breakouts. A lot of us have dark circles under our. Let me just say, first of all, I used to try all types of creams, all types of stuff for my dark under eye. The time that I gave up is when paparazzi caught Kim Kardashian out with no makeup, and she has dark eyes, like her under eyes, right? And I was like, oh, bitch, if she has not gotten rid of her dark under eye circles, I'm never getting rid of these, because whatever is out there, she would have it done.
Absolutely.
She has all the money.
Absolutely.
It comes from low iron is one of the reasons why you get dark circles under your eyes. And I remember, because I do have low iron. A lot of women do, because our menstrual takes a lot of iron out of our bodies. And that's why you may notice, as a woman, if you're a woman listening, you might crave red meat. I don't eat meat. So at that time, I'll get a vegan burger or something just to satisfy that. But what you're really craving is iron. So, anyway, that's what that comes from. So I don't worry about that anymore.
No,
I just
cool.
conceal it.
I got right. I feel you. But just real quick, just for some of our people out there that might be curious to know, what are some foods that you eat to increase your iron levels?
Iron. So like I said before, red meat, but spinach has a very high iron
content. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you do spinach, I do a lot. I eat spinach for my salads, and sauteed spinach, cream spinach. I eat a lot of spinach. I love spinach.
Yeah. No, I'll be on my Popeye shit too. No. But just because I think for me, so if we're comparing this to makeup, spinach is kind of like Fenty, it's smooth and it just glides on it, or your MAC or whatever. Yep. And kale is just ooh, Revlon. So or whatever.
I love kale.
I like it, but kale is just if we're having, I feel like, so this is a weird analogy, but it's kind of I feel like spinach is ooh, nice, cool to the touch, where kale is kind of hey, what's up in there? It's kind of it's a little rough, you know what I'm saying?
It is rougher.
Yeah.
I do kale chips a lot. My kids love them too.
Kale chips.
Yeah, so you'll just get big kale leaves and put them on a baking sheet, spray them with a little olive oil, and I'll sprinkle some sea salt on them.
Okay.
Like kale chips.
Wow, that's beautiful. Well, let's clap it up for moms that got their kids eating healthy.
I know, right?
Now that's a big deal, and to actually, and it's almost like you got to trick them into doing that, because they're not trying to do that on their own.
I know. I still let my kids eat meat. I don't regulate it. I don't buy it at home. So when we're at home, they're pescatarian just like me. But when they're out, and if they ask for chicken nuggets, I'll still get them. I'll wean them off.
But you won't cook chicken nuggets at home.
No.
Right.
No, I do popcorn, shrimp, and shit. Like everything seafood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then it's funny because now I don't know how healthy they are, but I will say shout out to Get Go because y'all definitely got them Impossible nuggets.
First of all, I don't want impossible anything because it's not possible. I don't want
Right.
So, but shout out to everybody eating that.
Yeah. I hate those type of people.
Are you fucking with them impossible nuggets?
Yeah. I do be a little bit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It put me where I need to be sometimes, especially the burgers. Like I be or the Beyond burgers.
So you don't eat meat?
No, I do, but I'm not, and that's the thing, talking about like being like disciplined and all that stuff. I'm not disciplined enough to be like, I'm a pescatarian, I'm a vegan.
Okay.
It's just like, sorry, this has nothing to do with anything, but it just makes me think about in Friday After Next, when after those two people, when they tried to rob the store and everything, and he said, "You accuse me of stealing? I'm appalled." And then Q was like, "You ain't appalled. You a nigga that steal."
Exactly.
It's just like, I'm not a vegan. I'm just a nigga that eats that stuff sometimes. So
that eats impossible nuggets.
Right. Chill.
Makes no sense.
Yeah,
but
it doesn't. Right, exactly. Everybody got to
do your thing.
We all got to find our way. All right. So, to go back in time, 2007, you went straight. Well, actually, before that, tell me about what was it like going to Peabody before Obama. Tell me about what was that experience like.
Excuse me. So, first of all, if we want to get into my high school experience, I went to a different high school every year.
Really?
Yes. So we moved around a lot. My mom moved us a lot. So I went to Peabody. I went to Carrick. I went to Wilkinsburg. I went to Shaler. And then I did Lecce because I missed a lot of school. So in order to graduate on time, I went to Lecce, which was in Homewood when I went. But I graduated with my diploma from Peabody, and I walked the stage with Peabody. So, but I was all over the place.
Right. So it wasn't really like your memories were confined to one place because you had been to so many different places.
Yes, exactly. Which is honestly why I know a lot of people. Like I remember before social media was so crazy, people, matter of fact, shout out to Bo, Makeup by Bo, right? So when she first started doing makeup, I was like one of the first people makeup that she did, and during MySpace days. So I remember this photo shoot that we did, and my makeup was crazy, and everybody was asking me, and I knew people from all sides of town, and I remember her like asking me like, how do you know people from all of these places, right? And I'm just like, I moved everywhere. But that's how far-fetched it was. Like, I'm from Garfield, you know what I mean? So to be from Garfield and know people from like the west side and the north side was like, it seemed like that was so far back then, you know what I mean? But it's because I went to so many schools. Right,
and it's kind of unheard of because a lot of us tend to stay in our own communities.
Oh, yeah, then.
I think about how, like, you can have Harambe Festival in Homewood, but if you're on the north side, then most likely you're not going to venture over to Homewood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or if there's something going on in the Hill, like the August Wilson block party, then maybe you don't come down if you're coming from, I don't know, Monroeville or somewhere like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It seems better now because social media done spread. A lot of people know a lot of people based on social, but
growing up
then,
it wasn't like that.
No, it wasn't like that. I was like one of the few people that knew people from everywhere.
and not to get too far off into this, but I just feel a responsibility to ask you. I am not a native Pittsburgher, but I've heard stories about how like the gang activity was really prevalent, particularly in places like Larmer, and I can imagine Garfield. I used to work at Westinghouse.
They used to be Garfield and Larmer.
They did?
Mm-hmm. They were rivals.
So what was that like for you and your family, like growing up during those times, and how did you stay away from a lot of that negativity?
Okay, so, well, I will share an experience. So, and this is just to paint the picture of how it was. I lived in the projects. Like I grew up in the projects. Well, kind of between Penn Hills and Garfield because my mom always had public housing up there. And then my dad owned a house in Penn Hills. But when they would argue and fight, we would stay in Garfield. And my mom would let different family members like live there while we were gone. So I had like the best of both worlds. That's why. And I feel like that made up my personality too, because I'm from the projects, but I'm classy and stuff, whatever. But anyway, I remember this time, and I have a scar on my knee to show it, but they were doing a drive-by, and it was a regular summer day, and we're all like kind of playing outside, and I'm playing outside, and this car is just driving down, just literally shooting out the window when all these people are outside.
Wow.
And so we had these little hillsides up, it was Colombo Street where I was raised. And the hillsides had like broken glass everywhere because people just used to, drink their old E's, whatever, and just throw the bottles or whatever. Right. So running, trying to get cover, I rolled down the hillside and I had a big gash on my knee. I had to go to the emergency room. I got stitches.
And you still have a scar.
I told my son a roach crawled in my leg and I killed it because it has all the. It's hilarious. Yeah, that's the story. I was like, that's a roach. Right. I tell him that
that is hilarious. Yeah.
But I mean, so I experienced that growing up. I experienced the gang violence, like literally. It would happen all the time, and you would just run, and then the coast would be clear. Everybody go back outside again like nothing happened.
Yeah. To dig a little. Well, first of all, thank you very much for sharing the story, and I'm so glad that you survived that, and you survived a lot of things. But now that you've brought that up, I want to dig a little bit deeper, and I would like for you to expound on this kind of myth that the streets only really impacts the guys, but it doesn't really impact the women. Like, what if someone?
Is that what they say?
Well, I'm saying. So let me say it like this: when we look at rappers beefing, when we think about and rest in peace, like Young Dolph and so many have been lost to just senseless murders. But I think that when you think about hip hop and the movies being centered around, like when you think state property or Paid in Full or these movies, they tend to focus on the men that are involved in it. And I think, I'm not saying that everybody says that women aren't impacted by that, but I do feel like there's this myth out there that says that, only the men have to like watch their backs and have to watch out, but somehow if you're a woman or if you're pretty or something, then that doesn't affect you. But you just shared a story that completely dispels that. So I just want you to talk a little bit about how it is for you to navigate the streets almost as a young woman, and how it is also hard on you as well.
Well, first of all, like just as far as the movies, so if you pay attention, it's not focused on the women, but in the backdrop, there's a girlfriend that lost her boyfriend, her baby daddy, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Right. So that is the impact that we get. Outside of just stray bullets or whatever is happening, you have, like, I grew up without my fathers, both of them. So I had my stepdad who raised me. He went to jail when I was 10. I ended up meeting my biological father when I was 12. I met him. We built a strong bond. And then he went to jail when I was 13. So that's one of the hugest impacts. Number one is daddies being stripped away from their kids, because I had to navigate without a father at a very critical point in my life, which was my teenage years. My dads, both of them, spoiled me rotten. I was so spoiled. So what that turned into, by the time I got to high school with no father figure, I looked to older guys for that, and older dope boys, because they had money, and my mom was struggling once, everything happened. So I feel like that's kind of the ripple effect. That's one, is your father going to prison, your man going to prison, different people that in the community being killed. So I feel like we as women end up with PTSD from that. You build these relationships with these different guys, and then next thing you know, he got killed, and everybody just moves on. We move on. But I feel like we carry that, and that's where some of our traumas, come from. And maybe some women don't even realize that they have PTSD from dating guys who are in the streets, you know what I mean? Or just being directly affected if one of those men are a part of your family.
Right.
So I feel like we just get kind of the aftermath. And then it's just the fear, like if you're hanging out with them and stuff like that. I mean, there are girls who have died being in the car,
right.
you know, with people and stuff like that. So I definitely am very blessed to be here because I was reckless. I hung around a lot of reckless guys, you know what I'm saying, who had beefs and different things like that. And I made it. I was fine. But there are some girls who didn't make it. So we are most definitely affected.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I thank you for shedding some light on that, because I even remember when I was working at Propel Braddock Hills, I had a job there as kind of like not a full-time teacher, but more so like a support person for some of the boys. And there was this one young woman I remember, and she was always nice to me. And sometimes when you work at some of the schools, you know, you're going to get fried. And the thing about being young and black, like I'm 35, but just like the police, the kids, if they're like 16 or 17, they don't care that you're 35. If you dress somewhat young and you kind of, you know, like they going to talk to you crazy like you on their level. So in the midst of all that, to have a young woman that is actually nice is always going to stay with me. Unfortunately, behind that smile, there was a lot going on outside of school. And I believe that she was actually involved in like selling drugs, and it ended up leading her to an early grave. So,
wow.
and she was a teenager, and this is like around Hawkins Village for people that are familiar with Rankin and Braddock and all that. So they know where that is.
Yeah.
But absolutely, there are women out here that are also active, that are also getting busy. And I think one person I interviewed before, Sydney Dame, co-owner of Fitish, and she was telling me about, or one time actually she wrote a status about how some women need to watch the way that they're constantly going on social media and reporting the news about all of their whereabouts, because if they're messing with someone that is affiliated with the streets and they're moving very low and very secretively, but you're the complete flip of that, and you're telling everybody, you're tagging locations and you're doing all this stuff, how you could unknowingly put yourself and him in harm's way. And if you have children together, them as well, because one thing about the streets is that they're unforgiving and they don't care about women or children.
Facts. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Terrible.
absolutely awful. So definitely want people to make smarter choices. And this is not to demonize anyone that is currently doing something illegal, but just to know that before you get involved with someone like that, there's a price to be paid.
It is. It's a huge price to be paid. It's a cycle that I'm trying to break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're aware, and I think that that's really good. And I think that based on the way your business has flourished and grown into like a real business, like not something that you just put on social media. Because one thing I want to pivot to is we often see businesses pop up all the time. Mm-hmm. Like one thing I think about is like you take Homewood, for example. We'll have like a new Caribbean food restaurant, or we'll have another Schumann's or something. We'll have a place that where maybe it's some like Middle Eastern people or something, and they know that we like fried chicken. They know that we like cheese fries and whatnot, and they'll be there. And we know that for someone like yourself that is pescatarian, well, we know that the Honey Grow, the Chula Indian barbecue, we know that Piata, street food, Chipotle, all that stuff is in like East Liberty, which people try to make it more like a shady side or something. But I guess to speed this up, the point I'm getting at though is that there was a point I had. I don't remember what the point was anymore. Anyway, we're gonna move on.
Well, you were talking about my business.
I was talking about your business.
Yeah. So how did that tie together?
Somehow, yeah. Be careful. I know it's a lot going on.
It's okay.
Wait, I like it. Well, they can't see your shoes, but
No.
So explain what was the inspiration for these today?
I don't know. threw them on.
Nah, I feel you.
Threw on the Gucci boots.
Oh, okay. You know what? I didn't even know they was Gucci until I looked hard. I was like, oh, okay, they Gucci. Okay. I like the big laces and everything. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Let me stop looking at your outfit. We'll do the fashion show thing later. All right. Since you are a Leo, and I wanted to ask you, who are your top 3 celebrity Leos? And some that I wrote down just so that you don't have to think too hard. J-Lo, Madonna, Barack Obama, Halle Berry, Viola Davis, Kylie Jenner, Whitney Houston.
Ew.
So who are like your fellow Leos that you feel like, you know what, you get me, like I'm just like you.
Well, number 1, I'll say shout out to Nipsey. Nipsey is a Leo.
I didn't know that.
His birthday is,
okay.
I believe, August 14th. So my 30th birthday, I went to LA.
Yes.
And I visited like the site, you know, where he passed away and all the memorials and stuff like that. So that was really dope. And
yeah.
I mean, he does not need an introduction.
No, he doesn't.
So he's like one of my top
Leos.
My top Leos. Okay. I didn't even know Whitney Houston was a Leo.
Yeah, I'll read them again for you. And this is just a couple I wrote down. J-Lo, Madonna, Barack Obama, Halle Berry, Viola Davis, Kylie Jenner, Whitney Houston, and my mom.
Okay, period.
Yeah, so my mom is a Leo too. So and it's funny because I'm a Cancer, so I'm right before y'all.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they say
yeah.
Cancers are good lovers.
Yeah. Y'all hear that out
be.
there? I try, but I think sometimes my hypersensitivity gets in the way.
Okay. Well, have you ever had your natal chart read?
No, I haven't.
Okay. So our personality, so everybody focuses on their sun sign, which is your Cancer.
Cancer, right.
I'm a Leo, that's our sun.
Right.
But you also have a moon rising, and you have all these other different components. So my moon is Aquarius. So that's a lot more of like my personality type and stuff like that. So
have you ever dated an Aquarius?
No.
No. Okay. All right, I need to see who my moon is because
well, you're not just going to be able to you got to put in your time of birth. If you don't have your time of birth, it's the day that the sun set, the day that you were born and stuff. It gets crazy. I had got myself a whole book for my birthday. So it has my name up there, it has my date of birth, it has the time that I was born, and inside it just explains everything. So, yeah.
And that's how you find out who your moon is.
Yeah.
Got you.
Which really tells you a lot more about yourself. Because a lot of people, again, just focus on their sun sign. But a lot more of your personality is in your other signs, in your other houses. There's 12 houses.
Okay.
Which follows the planets. It's where the planets were aligned when you were born. Yeah.
Got you. Well, I'll definitely be asking you some more about that. Yes, very, very interesting. Man, I forgot. We haven't been hitting any sound effects. And even though you didn't tell a joke, I'm going to still, All right. But anyway, yeah. All right. Just to break it the monotony a little bit right there. So something else that I am thinking about when it comes to you is that you seem to be very comfortable within your own skin. You seem to be someone who is very sure of herself. However, you know how they say like there's behind every joke, there's a little bit of truth in that. So what I'm trying to get at with you is, has there ever been a time when you lacked confidence, and how did you overcome it? Or how are you currently overcoming it if it comes back like a recurring theme?
Ooh, so there's layers to that question. Layers to that question. I guess I will speak more recently, like after I had my children. Your body changes, the way that you feel just changes. I remember after my son, I was a really wild girl before I had my son, you know what I mean? And when I never wanted kids in the first place, whatever, to bring it all in. I got pregnant, I had my son. So now I'm thinking like, okay, I'm a mom now. So you have to be like this and you have to be like that. So I struggled with my identity for a while, like years, right? Thinking like, I turned into a grandma. I didn't even know the music like the current music of that time. Like it was crazy. So I had to like really get to a point where I realized like, okay, you're a mom, but you still are Shalaia.
Yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you have to be happy and, you know, flourishing in your individuality so that you can be the best mom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it was then that I kind of, and then they had diagnosed me with like postpartum depression and stuff like that. So that kind of helped spark my journey to like confidence again. You know, I went through therapy. I read a lot of self-help books. I went through a lot of like a spiritual journey. I studied Buddhism. I studied all types of different religions. You know, I just read a lot of books. I just engulfed myself into my inner world, into figuring out who I was, what I was led to do, what I was led to be. I did a lot of meditating. I had learned about meditating through my studies of Buddhism. And, you know, it just helped me gain more of a sense of self. And I feel like through that work, really, I gained the confidence in myself because through Buddhism, and I'm not a Buddhist, but, you know, first of all, I feel like the core of most religions are the same. It really just comes down to being a decent human being, you know, having human decency, having a moral compass, just being a good person. I feel like everything agrees with that, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I found confidence in just really my spiritual journey and realizing my human experience, how great it was to be here, and that just kind of helped me. And then, of course, I continue on that journey every day through different practices that I do, self-affirming, you know, saying different affirmations to myself, talking to myself in the mirror. That was really something that I adopted because I never really did that prior to like therapy and stuff like that. But I would have to look at myself and be like even through my breakup, you know, with my kid's father, and I'm just like, girl, you are that bitch, you know, you just pump yourself up all the time. Yeah. So that's what I do.
Got you. Well,
I know that was kind of a lot, and there's like more in between, but
no, but that's a good that's a good synopsis of the answer to the question.
Yeah.
And also, I want to implore you, remember your dreamy music. Remember what it is. All right, so I need you to hit that real quick. Yeah. All right, okay. So here's what we're going to do because we're trying to sell something here. So I want you to find your camera. And I want you to do that. I'm gonna do it this time, and I want you to give me a couple looks into the camera. This is going to be funny right here. All right. So I'm really glad that you were able to overcome, or you are still learning how to overcome those insecurities so that you can be the beautiful woman that we see right here. Yes, exactly.
I don't know if I nailed it or not, but
that's all right. We're gonna do it again. But
okay.
Look. Whenever you telling it, I need. That's why. Look. Just,
okay.
Look. Whenever
I know that's why, because this was covering it. But
yeah, that's my bad. Because but yeah, I want you to start hitting them. So whenever you feel like we're gonna tell something about, pretty bad bitch or whatever.
Okay. Period.
Right.